Hi, I'm Professor Prabhu Rajagopal from the Mechanical Engineering Department at IIT Madras. I am also the advisor for innovation and entrepreneurship on our campus. Specifically in this context, I am one of the co-founders of our blockchain services startup, Plenome. Now, this project has its origins in a couple of years ago during the COVID pandemic, when we were looking at ways of improving the participation of students in the electoral process. And one of the things that was felt was, can students vote from where they are, or maybe vote using technology, actually using laptops or mobile applications. And this is when we hit upon the idea of the possibility of a blockchain based election process. Our group, both at the Center for NDE as well as the Center for Cyber Security, has been working on blockchain based applications for various real world use cases, including healthcare, elections, IP protection, supply chain securitization, and so on. And we immediately were able to dip into this whole knowledge base. We had a student group, the WebOps and Blockchain Club at CFI, or our makerspace, the Pioneering Center for Innovation, and we were able to develop a solution very quickly, which was then deployed to conduct the student council elections way back in 2021-22. And this gave us the Asia Book of Records for the very first student elections conducted on blockchain. More recently, we have had a startup called Plenome that has sort of emerged from our work on blockchain as a service among these different sectors, particularly focused on healthcare, where the idea is to bring interoperability to the healthcare data ecosystem. So again, during COVID years, we found that it's very difficult to carry data from one geography to another. It is difficult to track the spread of diseases. When we have a record at one hospital, for example, it's very difficult to access it at another hospital, and so on. And our work on blockchain helps us to create a interoperable universal health ID. Very recently, we are helped in by tailwinds from the world over, and also the Indian government, where we have the National Digital Health Mission, which seeks to connect the India stack, which is the Aadhaar database, with other services, including healthcare, and improve the efficiency and delivery. So we now have the Ayushman Bharat health account, which is built on the India stack. So our innovation has been to connect that to a blockchain based health ID, which then brings us a very unique possibility of an interoperable, trustworthy, immutable health record. And the beauty of this system is that it puts the ownership of data in the hands of the patients themselves instead of in the hands of a third party, and the consent management is done by the patients themselves. So now with the Aadhaar ID tied to the blockchain ID, we now have the very tempting possibility of a universal health ID, by which patients can map their health records to this ID at one location or one point of time, and then enable access anywhere in the world. Indeed, world is the the correct statement here, because this also enables us to take records cross-border, and this will involve a couple of steps. We need to overcome some regulations and compliances, but we are getting there indeed to a global, universally interoperable health account and health ID, which is now powered by our NDHM and ABHA health account. Finally, this election process, as such, we are in election season. We see that there is always the issue of trust in the electoral process. The Supreme Court has given its judgment, but we believe that we can make a very humble contribution here in our own way, where we are saying that bringing in blockchain allows us to bring in immutability and trust in the electoral register, making it distributing across computers, makes it more trustworthy and tamper proof as such. Although that is the pathway, but there is many small lower hanging fruit in the process. Today we see that elections are held in multiple contexts. We have demonstrated in student elections. Indeed, elections happens in residential welfare associations. Election happens in companies when shareholders vote. Elections happen in corporate settings, and they happen in several other contexts. And in every one of these cases, transparency is the major question. Even in residential welfare associations, people say, please tell me on what basis so and so was elected. bringing a blockchain into this context can be a brilliant solution. It will not be very expensive, it will be scalable, and it will be immensely trustworthy and a tech-enabled elegant solution to this problem. And those are the steps indeed to as we roll this out further. Perhaps the next step is to take this and get it applicable in corporate settings, corporate elections, shareholder votings, maybe welfare association voting process, and so on. Eventually, yes, indeed, we want the election commission to bite into this, but that is a different process. There is a timeline and a methodology for that, and hopefully that will happen as well. And we are very excited for this technology to take it to the world. One of the technological challenges to answer for that in this process is to make sure that blockchain transaction speed improves. That is still rudimentary in its impact. And the second thing is to ensure the security of computer networks itself. And there is a lot of work in all these directions. I'm sure that in the coming few years, we are going to see a completely different electoral landscape.